you know my name. You know racing cars is my favorite game, and you know I can't be beat when I'm in the driver's seat. See, I got a lead foot and gas in my veins. God put a V8 where he should have put brains. There ain't a race I haven't run. There ain't a race I haven't won. And it's been 7 days since I've won a race, and I don't plan on leaving this place till I've won another. Send you crying home to your mother. See, I got the car, the skill, the crew, the will. God hates a sinner, but he loves a winner. You dare to show your face? Come on, Ace. Let's race.
Hello again, everybody. This is Joe Larson, and you're watching the 505 on Racing Show. Tonight, I have a very special guest, and our guest co-host, WJ from MyRaceNews.com. Welcome.
Glad to be here.
It's always a pleasure to have a guy of your caliber and your racing knowledge sitting beside me here.
You sound like a gun.
Nah, it's all good. You know, over the last, I guess, year and a half, I've been seeking out somebody to keep me in check every once in a while, you know, because as you know firsthand, sometimes I go down to Abilene, I just keep on going, you know.
Yep.
And then the owners of the show get a little upset with me because I don't do the commercials and I don't do the breaks. So, you know, here you are.
Well, we have to have breaks.
Have to have breaks.
Plenty good
You know?
food over there. So.
There's plenty, you know, and you know, I got here. You know, when I got here today, he had his cup in his hand and was just standing there waiting, and we just dug in.
Good stuff. You can't pass it up.
You can, you know, and you can't make it up either.
Oh, no.
No. Oh,
It's hard
yes.
to make up lobster. I mean,
It
I've
really
seen-
is.
Well, actually, you know, they do it in some deli counters. I've seen
Yes, they do.
full
It-
lobster made out of cod. But
And some of the Asian buffets, too. I don't know if that's really lobster.
I don't know what a lot of that is.
You know? But the only thing, you know, I like to go to those Asian, you know, the Chinese buffets and whatnot. I like going to those things because I'll try something I wouldn't like go buy at my local Chinese restaurant.
You haven't had good Chinese food until you've eaten at the main China restaurant at Epcot down in Disney. They have
Main China restaurant.
this, well, that's not the name of the place. I forget the actual name, but they have a big restaurant down there. And everybody that I've been to Disney with, and even people that I spoke to down there coming out of the restaurant, say it's like no other Chinese food they've ever had. And some of them are eating things that they would normally order as a takeout at home, and say,
Right.
I'm not going back to that place at home anymore. I'm going to look for somewhere else because this was so much better.
Oh, I got to go there because that's next to Italian food. Chinese food is I could eat Chinese food every day. Every day. And unfortunately, there aren't too many places off of Long Island where it's decent. So the next time I'm in that vicinity, I'm going to have to check that out.
The hard thing to get outside the New York metropolitan area is Italian food.
Oh, forget about it.
I know people who are Italian who have moved away, and it's like, I need.
Yep.
They can't, they have trouble finding oregano, they have trouble finding spaghetti sauce, that's
Yeah.
really spaghetti
Mozzarella.
sauce, you know, other than what says on the label.
Oh, yeah. When I lived in Tampa, there was a place, an Italian place. It was 3 retired policemen who set up this place, and it said, Genuine New York Italian Restaurant. So when you walk into the place, you think you're in a New York subway. There's graffiti on the walls. It was set up like a New York subway. And believe it or not, the food was decent, but it was pricey.
There's a pizza place called Brooklyn Boys down in Mooresville. As a matter of fact, I understand there's more than one place now that has pizza as good as 90% of the places in New York. I mean, I know there's
Nice.
places in New York where, you know, they got the best pizza in town, and big battle over which one of them's the best on the island. But this pizza, when I had it down there, I was very surprised to find that in North Carolina.
Nice. I've never been to that one. Because somebody mentioned that we were down there, we were kind of cruising around, and we tried to figure out where to go, and somebody mentioned that, no, let's go get pizza. And I was like, nah, I don't do pizza for dinner. Let's go somewhere else. So we ended up going somewhere else, because to me, pizza's a snack.
It's on the west side of 77, and just a little bit south of, is it Route 105 or something like that.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll have to try
You
that.
have to make, I think, a left. You cross over 77 and make a left right after you pass Lowe's and go down that way, and you can find it.
I'll have to try that. Because that's where we normally stay, right down the road. from Lowe's, right? I mean, literally right down the block is a hotel road that's all hotels. That's where we stayed. So anyway,
150. That's the route number 150. That's the road that Lowe's is on.
so you had a busy weekend, didn't you?
Oh yes, very busy and extremely cold. Saturday started out looking like it was going to be wonderful. I mean, I got to the track. I was dressed like this. I walked around the pits all afternoon dressed like this. When I went to go up in the grandstands, I guess around 3:45, because time trials were starting at 4 o'clock, I was halfway walking down the backstretch, and I said, "Oh, I got to put my sweatshirt on. It's getting chilly." And I got up into the seats, and probably by 5:45, 5:30, it was, well, now let me put the winter coat on. But there was a breeze out of the east, which you normally don't get there. It's usually north, south, sometimes out of the west. It was coming out of the east, and I guess it was really blowing in some cold air off the water. And I think somebody said it was 46 degrees by the time the show was over that night. And it felt that way because I could barely feel my hands. I was sorry that I wore the shoes that I did. I said to my partner, Maggie, I probably should have worn what I wear when I go out snow blowing because my feet would still be warm. But most people felt the same way. She had remembered to bring a winter coat with her, and more than one person said, "Wow, you're one of the smart people who remembered how to dress tonight." And she said, "Yeah, but my feet are still cold because I got sneakers and thin socks on."
Man.
But you could see wherever you looked, if somebody had it, they were wearing it.
They're wearing it. And, it's like you said, it's very rare that the wind comes off the east, but when it does, it comes off the Peconic Bay, which is fed by the ocean and the Sound and the Long Island Sound, and it gets cold.
Well, it's a strange thing. You listen to the weather report now, if they mention anything about the temperature of the ocean or anything like that, now they're telling you, well, it's 50 degrees out, it's going to go down to about 48 overnight. And tomorrow it'll be up in the 60s, but the water temperature right now is only 49 degrees. And you say, oh, yeah, okay, it's just the opposite of wintertime. When they tell you it's 32 degrees air temperature outside, but that the water is 40.
Right, what a difference. Yeah, so I guess Riverhead opened this weekend. And
yes.
We don't normally talk about results and stuff that goes on there, but I hear there was a lot of unhappy people.
Well, there was a lot of unhappy people after the blunderbuss race because it was a sort of controversial call at the end. It appeared that Jack Handley Jr. had won the race. He'd had quite a battle with Scott Malazewski the last couple of laps. Scott was leading. Jack wanted to take the lead. He was maybe a quarter mile an hour faster than Scott was, and he kept trying to get around him, and Scott was either taking the middle line, or if Jack managed to get alongside of him, he was squeezing him up to the wall and down into the infield. And by the time they got to the final lap, they were, beating and banging sideways. And then going down the backstretch, Jack got down under him, and I guess you could say Scott cut down on him. I don't really remember exactly. It's just the two of them came together going into 3 and 4, basically turn 3. And Scott was pretty loose going through 3 and 4. Jack more or less backed off. Scott was on the gas so hard that he was dirt trekking through the turn. And Jack got away from him and crossed the start-finish line as Scott, unfortunately, fishtailed and spun and got drilled by a couple of other cars. The third-place runner, Jason Wall, managed to get by all of it. And he was later on declared the winner after the officials conferred for a couple of minutes and decided that they were going to set Jack Handley Jr. down for rough riding and take the win away from him. I know it upset one fan enough, Long Island Mod Maniac, that he went in the pits and he paid Jack Handley Jr. the winner's share of the purse out of his own pocket.
Out of his own
because
pocket.
He felt the call was so bad.
The man is a godsend to racing.
I really have to be honest with you. I didn't know which way to call it. It didn't seem like the kind of blatant rough riding I've seen before. I don't know that I totally agree with it. I semi-understand what they were thinking, but I think I would have erred on the side of, well, we'll give it to them, but, we got to tell all of them we can't have this going on again, because everybody's got the mentality now. NASCAR said, we'll have at it, boys.
Yep.
And, you had the battle at the beach down there where everybody got dumped going into 1 and 2 or 3 and 4 on the last lap. And seemingly nothing was done about that, and I guess they figured, you know, some of the guys are figuring the same thing should apply on a local level on a Saturday night track.
Well, you know, and I wasn't there, and I just, you know, what people had told me, and my phone started ringing Sunday morning with that, and I was like, wow, you know, and you just confirmed what everybody else told me, that, you know, they went and had a committee meeting, like that I'll call it a committee meeting, to make that decision, and that's been one of my beefs over the last 3 or 4 years, is